North Dakota After Dark is proudly brought to you by Endries Construction Services. With over 20 years of experience in all areas of construction, projects that include banks, oral surgery offices, dental offices, schools, retail space, and auto body shops, you name it, they can build it. They offer assistance with all phases of construction from the initial design all the way through completion. You dream it, they make it a reality. Your next project, looking to be a breeze? Call the folks at Endries.
Welcome to episode 32 of North Dakota After Dark, where I guess it's just dusk. So I think calling it After Dark is a stretch, but we'll just pretend for now. We are joined today, or tonight, I guess, by Kevin Vaughn. Kevin is, probably our fifth or sixth. I'm going to call you a THA alum, Kevin, because I think it's appropriate.
Yeah. Not nearly as deep as some of those guys at THA, but I dabbled.
You spent some time in there. You went through a lot of debates over, is a hot dog a sandwich? Does pineapple belong on pizza? And then the ones I don't want to repeat in public. But
or Rotten Tomatoes game. That was always good.
Rotten Tomatoes is a good game. I think we should have an honor for Rotten Tomatoes.
Honor system.
Yeah. Kelly or Corey, have you ever played?
Have not.
I'm only familiar with the movie review website, which is Rotten Tomatoes.
And you're halfway there.
Okay.
And so the deal is you pick a genre of movies, say like all the Die Hards, for example.
Okay.
And then you'd have to guess what their Rotten Tomatoes score is.
Ooh, I think I'd be okay at this game.
And then whatever the difference is that's your cumulative score. And then winner gets to pick the next round. Very fun game.
Yeah. It was. It got heated. It was pretty competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, this was
pretty impressive. We were like under fives.
Yeah, we were FaceTiming in. We were Zooming before Zoom was a thing.
Yeah. So it's we should resurrect that. Kevin, good pull. I almost forgot about that game. That's why you're here, for the good content.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'll let you do your own intro, Kevin, but long background in hockey, and now which is where I knew Kevin from. But now Kevin peddles booze, and that is really, before our kids and spouses, probably our number one love for all the hosts of the show. So we're real happy to have you on. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm following Gino Gasparini, on your last show, so that's pretty big shoes to fill. I see him at Hugo's every now and then.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of booze, so.
All right.
Played hockey my whole life. Played high school hockey in Minnesota. Lucky enough to play in the state tournament my senior year. Lost to TJ Oshie in the championship game. His line did not score on us, for the record. That's my claim to fame. Otherwise, I was a pretty average hockey player. We had a good goalie, and that was about it, and a good group of guys. Moved up here in 2008 after 4 years at St. Cloud working as a student manager. Was director of hockey ops for the women's hockey team for 10 years. I think we all know what happened there. And then worked at the Ralph for a year, kind of got office-based over there. And then worked at All True for a couple years recruiting doctors. And now I've been selling booze for 4 years and been knowing Coach since about 2010, 11. Is that about right, Coach?
I think 11, right? When Archie was born there. Yeah. So Kevin was familiar with my babysitting methods in the early days, which was drop the stroller off on the bench while we played ball hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do miss is ball hockey, or having, 22 babysitters available from the women's hockey team, amongst other things.
That was, that's a tough break. And now all those gals are having kids of their own, which is...
Yes. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. We actually tried to have Tori Williams on, and she had a baby that week. So she's like, I'm kind of busy. I'm like, how busy are you? Well,
knowing Tori, she probably still would have done it.
Yeah.
What'd she have, boy, girl?
She had a girl, and I've got a picture somewhere.
Yeah. Facebook is how I keep up with everybody. So
So anyway, good.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I got 5-year-old twins at home, and
oh my gosh, twin boys, twin girls, one of each.
One of each. They couldn't be more different. So
that's cute. I love that.
Yeah. And Kelly, are you Katie Marcotte's sister by chance?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Okay, I thought I recognized you. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's our realtor. She's been awesome. Like she's been our lifesaver. She was literally holding our babies during our house building process through Thompson Homes. So
She's a stellar realtor, I have to say.
she is
she's
a
very
effing
good
bulldog.
at her job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
she's a
cool.
bulldog. She's definitely saved our asses a few times. So
yeah. Yeah.
Also a former guest on the show.
oh,
Yeah.
well, geez.
Yeah.
Yep, we had her on during the Hockey Mom episode.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she embodies
She's a
that for sure.
Yeah, she's a seasoned hockey mom. She three boys all the way through. So
Yeah. Nice.
We Kelly, I was gonna actually give you a little bit of a pause there, say like we can always edit this stuff out in post. So just if you wanted to like go
just
ham
let Katie have it.
Yeah.
But what I will say, one time at Christmas, she tried to take a sweater of mine, and I think everyone should know that about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, we once had a guest none of us like Minot. We once had a guest take it a little too far on Minot, and so we did edit that out.
Oh, okay.
even too much for us.
Yeah. Well, you know, Marty's wife's from Minot. I've been there once for a wedding, and that was enough. So
I saw what I needed to see.
yeah, I
fit
was.
right in, Kevin.
Yeah, I was so full at the wedding. I thought the Pizza Ranch was the bar next to the hotel. It's like, this is the coolest Pizza Ranch I've ever been to. And it was not a Pizza Ranch. It was whatever that bar is called right by the hotel in Minot.
This Pizza Ranch is fantastic.
It was really good. Yeah, I served a lot of booze.
Kevin, you should be our Pizza Ranch review correspondent.
Ooh, yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
There is one in every small town, I swear, that I sell booze to. So
Yeah.
There is. Very popular in North Dakota.
And Dollar General.
Yep. Dollar General, or if there's not a Pizza Ranch, there's a Casey's. So
Oh, even better. That sip was a tremendous segue, Kevin. One of the things we always like to start the show with is, what are we drinking tonight?
actually not keeping it super classy, just a little box wine tonight, a little Cab Sav, bourbon barrel. Keep her going.
I like that.
Yeah, I was gonna do some margaritas tonight, but night got away and it's just too much work. So
It happens. Corey?
yeah, we had to move to tacos earlier. So
Ooh, good choice.
Good choice.
Tonight I'm rolling the Bushmills and Fresca. Just your usual four-man hour.
I like it.
I already saw what Kelly's drinking, but please tell us.
Kyle, you did this because you brought up when I saw you earlier, you said something about mom waters, and I was like, ooh,
Hey,
that
just
sounds
planting the seed,
okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Playing
yeah,
the long game.
Yeah. And I don't usually have to be talked into mom waters, but it just
fair point.
rang a bell tonight where I was like, yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
I was looking for stuff in my liquor cabinet and found a bottle of I think Kettle One orange vodka. Is that possible, Kev?
yeah, it might be discontinued, but it's possible.
Hey, well, I've got some.
It's
So
a collector's item. It's like some Bacardi O.
Yeah, we had some a random group of 12-year-old boys show up, and as they were wont to do, they opened a million little orange sodas and each had one sip. So I'm using that as mix now.
Absolutely. Hey,
I'm
nothing
a
goes to
big
waste.
environmentalist, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm going to follow up. Have you got to tell us about these, Kevin? We have a lot of questions. Good Boy vodka.
Oh, the John Daly's. I
Yeah.
have not tried them yet. They're not carbonated, right?
I think they're tremendous.
Okay, I've heard good things.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued because I do like a nice John Daly. I usually do it with lemonade and Deep Eddy's sweet tea vodka, but that's just because that's what I sell. So
yeah, there are a number of these, and they've all been very good. So
not cheap though, right? For
no, not cheap
varieties.
They're mom and dad water esque in their price point.
Yeah. That's the one thing about mom water is you can have like 4 for $16. I'm like, what is the deal?
We sell this thing called Long Drink. Corey, if you're a big Fresca guy, it's a gin and cocktail that Finnish people drink like beer over there. It's super good. So if you're ever dabbling in that, gotta get my plug in for my sales for all the listeners.
Yeah, I say keep going. We really have to cover the booze stuff.
Oh yeah, I didn't know the job existed until I actually got the job.
So who do you sell booze through?
Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. So It's three major distributors in North Dakota, and then four. Republic, Johnson Brothers is a big one. We're second-ish, and then Cask and Cork is kind of a little bit of a mom and pop shop, but still has some good stuff. So, but I sell to everywhere in town here except for Happy Harry's. We have certain guys that just sell strictly to Harry's, obviously, just because of their volume. And then I go up to Inkster, and then I go as far as like Cooperstown, Hope, and Lakota. So small town bars and small town folks and their beauties. I love them.
In your tabs do you do?
What's that?
I'm sorry, Corey. I was wondering how many pull tabs do you do on a work day?
Oh gosh, I don't do them, but everybody, even my boss that's come with me, always rips a few. I don't really dabble in them. I'm just usually there to sell, and then the next one because I don't get a lot of time. Ronco would be a different story though.
Okay, Corey, I'm sorry I cut you off.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I was just going to say, in your time selling, did you ever run across another salesman in town, Len Brabant?
Len.
John.
Yeah.
Brothers?
Did he move, right?
Yeah, he moved.
His wife worked for Shields, right?
Yep.
I ran across Len.
He,
where are they at now? Iowa or something?
Yeah, they're in Des Moines, Iowa, and he's selling down.
Nice. Good for him. Yeah, I always liked him.
So he put me on to quite possibly the best premium low-key whiskey, which is Bushmills 21. By far, I think it might be the best little-known premium whiskey there is.
There's so many of those. Like, people always want to buy the Pappies and all the allocated stuff. Like, it's great and everything, but like, you can get way more bang for your buck with just stuff off the shelf. But I didn't say that out loud.
Oh man, industry secrets.
Yeah.
There's only like listening to this anyways. You're just fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And Danny,
I do got. Oh,
perfect.
I got it. I got to shout out my idiot buddies back home that I told that I was on a podcast. So Bob, Rugger, Mark, and Benny, they're a bunch of rubes, big time Minnesota sports fans, and they're probably going to make fun of me for this. So, as they are wont to do.
We're going to do a live show sometime, so they can call in and we'll make fun of them.
That's what they wanted to do. Big time.
Okay.
So.
Kelly's really mean, so she'll just let them.
Yeah, they're good dudes. My one buddy actually works for the Timberwolves, and then the other one's a baseball coach. The other two are pretty good dudes in their own right, but yeah, pretty well versed in sports, except for Bob and Rugger, because I got to get that cheap shot in. So.
Yeah, good. Give it
Kyle,
to him.
I want you to know I just got a text from Danny Mardo showing him and Sled drinking in his garage. And I said, hey, thanks for the invite. He said, oh, I can't invite you. You're podcasting right now.
We spoke before you came on, Kevin, about, Kelly hasn't changed her name off of Matt Moreland. Do we have to give Matt credit? Corey suggested giving him a producer credit. We probably have to give Danny one because he is the taskmaster. He wants to make sure the show's, going at regular intervals. He's out of content. So really pushes us hard to put new episodes out. We appreciate that.
Nice.
And we do.
How was Gino on the episode? I couldn't pull it up. My work phone blocked stuff. So.
Oh, I loved him. He's so cool. He's just from a different time. You know what I mean? And I liked that so much about him. I thought that was so cool. My exact words to Matt when we got done with it is I said, we need more of what he stands for and less of all this new age bullshit that we all buy into. I said, because he's so cool. He tells like cool stories, like genuine experiences. I said, he's lived a cool life and I wish I could have, so I loved having him as a guest. He was really, really neat. I wish though he would have allowed his picture on the camera because I said, charming old men with great stories, you got me 7 days a week. So
I'm sure
it's probably better for my marriage that he left that camera off. So but cool guy. So cool.
Yeah. Andy, his son's my doc, and Andy's awesome.
Me too,
so it doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. So
good.
Pretty rare.
Who just casually tells stories like, oh, and the coach I was standing next to, Herbie Brooks.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, son of a bitch, that's cool.
Yeah. I love those stories where they're not like trying to big time you or say
No,
like, I
it's
know this guy. It's just, hey, this is a guy. I know it's Herb. Like he's just
Yeah.
another dude. He's another coach back in the day.
yeah.
Still fucking puts his pants on one leg at a time. They're not any different than any of us. They're just,
Yeah. I was at a dinner with him one time, and we got there early. We're just sitting down, and there was an empty seat, and I was like, "Oh, is it someone else going to join us?" Whatever. He goes, "Yeah, just this guy, John." I'm like, "Oh, all right." John Van Beesbrook walks in and sits down. I was like, "Oh, that's
yeah, that's
gotcha."
cool.
Yeah, so
John.
yeah, just this guy. So yeah,
Just,
John, right.
it was a good show in that we really didn't have to do much. Just he just kind of
nice. I got to do my more. I wanted to do more research. I wanted to hear how Max and Margot did. I haven't even talked to them since they've been back. They're just too
They
busy
were
at the
really
club
fun.
that was
golfing all the time.
That was a good one too, because Margot had to be on. She wants to keep the distance from Max in terms of she's been a more frequent guest. But Max did a great job. A lot of Hockey Academy stories, obviously, but they presented a real good dynamic and that was a lot of fun to do that one.
Yeah. Have you talked to him lately? What's his plan?
I actually haven't.
Yeah.
I'd like to have him back on, but then I have to have Margot first just to make sure she's
for sure.
I ran into Margot today and I find her very cool. So I automatically, that makes me act stupid in front of people. And the whole time I'm thinking, Kelly, do not bring up her cats. Don't ask to see the cats. Play it cool. Be cool. So it was a constant, like, her cats made appearances on the podcast and she has Maine Coons. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, this, God. So I made just an absolute purposeful effort not to talk about the cats today, which means the next time I see Margot, I will bring up the cats.
Oh, she'll be more talk. Yeah.
I was just trying not to do it today.
They still have Bug, right? That was the original cat that I'm aware of. But sometimes, I don't know anymore. Yeah.
My nerd flag flies too high and I have to reel it in. I just have to. Yeah. So like, it was like, play it cool, Kelly. Play cool.
In addition to the booze, which I think we'll keep on just for a minute, we wanted to get into some of your experiences as director of hockey operations. In my experience, that the behind the scenes guys have the best stories.
Yeah, we have some good ones for sure.
One question I want to ask specifically, and I think Corey will probably have a few in this vein as well, is what is going to be the breakout drink of summer? Over the last few, we've had Mom Waters and Sunny D's and what's the original? White Claws.
Yeah, I would have said long drink, but that was last year, and still hoping that would be the case this summer. It might be those Good Boys, and I don't sell it, but I mean, I don't. Doesn't matter to me. I just like to pick out what's good. But I would say that we picked up gin and juice from Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
No kidding.
It's like super cool packaging.
Yeah.
Taste is a little lacking. Other than that, we haven't had a lot of new stuff come out. That stuff is so saturated, like everybody tries to be the next High Noon and it's tough.
I'm sure.
So like we came out with a bunch of stuff and it kind of had to discontinue some of it that didn't do well. And then we kept some that did do well. I would say, those Good Boys are good.
Yeah.
Again, off the record.
Yeah. Gotcha. Corey, did you try the Dad Waters yet?
I have not tried the Dad Waters. I am not a big fan of White Claws or anything like of that nature because I ascribe to the gentleman in You Betcha who believes White Claws taste like someone just dipped a Jolly Rancher into water.
Yeah, the aftertaste on seltzers really throws me off, so I don't really drink much of them. I'm not knocking it; it's just my taste.
Yeah,
White Claw did come out with like their version of a High Noon, and they're pretty good. They're White Claw vodka seltzer juices,
like the blue cans.
Yeah, so they're but they're pretty good. I've tried out. I mean, they're very comparable to High Noon, so you can tell it's just their version. But
actually, let me show you one that we just got in.
While he's doing the last 5 years making fun of Josh Brown drinking White Claws, so I can no longer have any because I've lost all my street cred.
They just came out. It's kind of tough to see. -196. Jim Beam Suntory makes them.
Okay.
They like freeze the fruit at like negative 196 Celsius, crush it, and it's vodka seltzer. Pretty good. Yeah.
I'd be willing to try that. That sounds like something.
Lemon, peach, and grapefruit. I know Harry's has them right now, but
What
they're pretty good.
Kevin, what is that in Fahrenheit? Because we also don't like Canada.
Oh God, I don't even know. Really cold then in Fahrenheit. God,
Yeah,
it's
that
gotta
works.
be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, how do you feel about the pre-mix whiskey drinks? Crown Royal ones are actually pretty legit. I don't know if you've had those.
I haven't tried those. I did try. We have OTR, like already you can pour like old fashioned on ice. I didn't try the Crown one, so and I haven't tried the JD ones yet either. But I mean, I liked Crown.
Yeah.
I like Crown. I don't mind it.
I got a couple of those on the rocks ones at the house there. They are good.
Yeah, they're nice. They're just easy. Pour them literally on ice and you're good to go. But yeah, I would say I would try the negative 196. It's you're gonna get a lot more fruit taste than booze taste right out of the gate. That's kind of what my wife said, but it's got good flavor. It kind of doesn't have that weird seltzery aftertaste.
Yeah.
I like that we've made the slow fade from a hockey parent and kid podcast into a drinking podcast. It was everything I for.
But if you have children, drinking is such an essential part of your life. I've never been more motivated to drink than having children. Like, it's just, that's what they bring you to. The loves of my life, but also the reason I drink.
100%. It just we just wait till we get them down and have a glass of wine with my wife.
Yeah, it's all about balance.
Plus we do have a lot of hockey parent listeners, and again, we have been in that milieu for a while, and we know that's part of the deal. So I think this is really a public service.
Yeah, only after the fact did I realize why my parents, or mainly my dad, who took me on most of my hockey road trips, loved hotel weekends and making his own Bloody Marys. And I was like, God, I didn't realize how much fun the parents had.
Yeah.
I thought it was just fun for the kids.
Yeah. And you're knocking on the door there, Kimo.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see if we get either of them into hockey. We'll see. We got dancing and maybe karate for one right now. So.
Oh yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So any parting shots on booze before we do two things? Corey's going to do a live read and we'll get right into the hockey stuff.
No, if you got any questions, happy to recommend stuff, but I don't sell the Happy Harry. So if you want to support my business, go to Hugo's Right Spot or the Rock, I guess. Nothing against Harry's.
Big right
North
spot.
Ender here, so I shop at the Rock quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely supporting
Jamie.
because
Jamie is awesome. So
that is that is usually the Moreland's go-to is the Rock. So
yeah.
I like the right spot. Tim's there, and then sometimes you have a nice long conversation with Tom Montgomery, which is always enjoyable. So a lot of fun.
Tommy's a gem. It's always it's a good once a week for me, and he usually gives me shit, and I give it back to him. So
coached at River Dogs with him tonight, so that was
oh nice. Oh yeah, he's big time baseball guy.
Yeah,
he's got speaking of stories.
Year. Yeah,
speaking of stories, he's got some stories about his fast pitch days. He was like a legit fast pitch player.
Yeah, we talked about that very briefly about him playing in Flin Flon because so I grew up in Saskatchewan. My town was a baseball town, but most of the towns around me were fast pitch towns. So at some point, it's going to come up, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's something I wish I would have watched more of. My buddy's dad played it pretty seriously too. Those guys can fucking crank it.
Yeah, it's a way different game, obviously. Like it's our senior men's baseball team filled in at a tournament once that was a fast pitch, and we got our asses handed to us because we field.
Oh yeah,
but like
it's just a different game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Barely touched the ball, so kind of a mess. So, Kevin, hockey-wise, you started out in St. Cloud, student manager.
Yep, for 4 years from 03 to 07. So I was back in the Craig Dahl for 2 years, and then that's when Motts came in my junior year.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Would have just missed my brother-in-law. He was goaltender. Jake Moreland was.
Yep. I know the name. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if there was a relation. Yeah, Jake was. He'd be around the rink every now and then. So.
Yeah, but you would have just missed. Oh gosh, because Jake was class of 97. I want. Yeah, 97 would have been Jake. So you would have just missed him. Yeah. But he Yeah, big St. Cloud guy and absolutely loved St. Cloud. So
Yeah.
It's a great school.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's shitty that they're cutting a bunch of programs there now too, but that's kind of the
Really?
name
I
of the
hadn't
game right
heard.
now with universities. So
Yeah.
One of the things I have picked up in one of the jobs I have is that a lot of schools now, which is encouraging, are adding club or D3 hockey just to get students in. So
oh God,
I'm
yeah.
hoping the pendulum swings back, because like it's every week there's a couple schools I've never heard of. In most cases are like, oh hey, we're adding men's and women's hockey.
Just to get some bodies there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to get some enrollment for sure.
Yeah, right, 100%. So, which is a non sequitur. So, tell us about your time at St. Cloud. Some interesting characters came through. I think Hendricks was there at the time.
Oh yeah. So
NHL guy.
Hendy was there. Yeah, Hendy was there my freshman year. I went there in the summer to kind of get acclimated. I met Hendy in July. Super good dude. He was always talking hockey, and he just always like speak. Now that I work, from working here at UND, he's always like, he wanted the most gear to protect himself against NODAC weekend, because he would get he'd get slashed and beat to shit because he was their best player. Real eye awakening thing. And I mean, I knew I grew up in sports my whole life, but Hendy liked to play ping pong naked. And
oh yeah,
if I was up next and if I was up on the table next, you're playing them naked. So okay, let's. So he's like, Kevo, you're up. Okay, then you're playing. All right. So this is
you
what's
also
happening.
have to get.
No, I did not.
And nakedness, man.
Yeah,
it is
I
a
did
thing.
not. I did not have to be naked, thank God. But then, and another thing, and again, Hendy is awesome, dude. I went to his bachelor party, God knows how long. Freshmen always had to, like, freshman student managers always had to go get guys to go do autographs in the walkway after games. Hendy had just got beat the hell, sprained wrist, ankle, whatever, and I had to go pull him off the training table because the athletic director, Morris Kurtz, I'm sure you know him, coach.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to get Hendy up for autographs because he was their best guy, and they needed him up there. So I was like, how about you go do it? I'm the little 18-year-old scrawny dude. Like, and he was a good guy about it. He put his chew away and then went up and signed. And then, yeah. And it was kind of cool because, like, watching the Road to the Winter Classic when Hendy was at the Caps, him talking about how he made his way to the show, he and I had that same conversation at his bachelor party at MC's dugout, where he's like, it was MC's. He's like, I got to fight my way into the league. Like, he was never a fighter. Like, I watched him in high school at Blaine. He played with Bochenski. Like, that line was sick. And he was a scorer. And then once he got into the league in Hershey, he had to fight to get his way up in the league. And then he proved he could score a little bit. Like, he was nasty in shootouts for a while, and then made a hell of a career out of it. Now he's GM with the Iowa Wild. So it's super cool. And it couldn't happen to a better dude. Like, he's the best. So I would say Hendy's probably one of the bigger characters that were there. Lundbaum was there when I was there.
Yeah.
Andrew Gordon was probably one of my best friends there. He had made a hell of a career playing in Sweden. And a couple of guys I played high school against, like Nate Day, Sean Garrity, were there. But it was a super fun time. Like, it was kind of cool. Like, my boss Jeremiah, who's been there for years, he just stepped down because he had a family. Like, kind of the thing was, like, you work your way up, you work with the women's team, you travel with the women's team your senior year, and then if they make final face-off or final five, you go with the men's team. And so I got to go on that trip. Mott's funny story, like, we went to JD Hoyt's for dinner, and we're all having dinner, and then after dinner, Mott's goes to Eric Rude. He goes, Ruder, who's that kid with us on the trip? And Ruder goes, that's Kevin. He's the student manager. He's been at the rink every day for the last 2 years. So Mott's made a point to come over and ask me how my dinner was. Like, hey, Kevin, glad you have on the trip. How was your dinner? I'm like, good, thanks, Bob. Like, I see you every day, but it just shows how narrow focused Bob is. He's a good guy, but, like, that's just a head coach thing. You guys know how that is.
I think we used to talk about that at the Hockey Academy, Kevin, that one of the UND guys was infamous for that for a number of years, about, like, see us every day, see us in a different place on the weekend.
Yeah.
Come introduce himself. I'm like,
oh yeah, I know you. Yeah, I'm fully aware. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Good dude. To get a backtrack just a little bit. One of the things we talked about in episode one of the Matt episodes, I can't remember if it was 4 or 18. Just Hendrick's story about when is a good time to make the transition in terms of going from a scorer to a role player. And one of the things we kind of discuss is like, if you have that attribute younger, should you lean into it? And I think my take is always score as long as you can. The time's
Oh,
gonna
for
come.
sure. Yeah.
Don't jump. So that I'd say would be a real good example of keep putting them in the net till
they tell you you're
not
not quite. Yeah. Till we got guys like Ovechkin that can do that. You go fight somebody.
So yeah, just
yeah, that's how I got. I mean, that's kind of how I got to UND. I owe a lot to Brian. He was the assistant coach at St. Cloud my senior year for the women's team, so he and I got to know each other pretty well. He kind of picked up on me being a hockey guy, so he'd kind of always be in my ear and kind of BS with me on the bench when he'd get pissed because we only had about 3 or 4 defensemen that were playable. So he ran the defensemen, but they were damn good. But he had to play the shit out of them. So the one was actually Oposo's now wife, Danielle Hirsch. But yeah, that's kind of how I got up here. I was literally working an office-based job out of college. I had like 4 different bosses, and then Brian emailed me and said, "How much do you hate your current job, and do you want to come up here?" And came up here in summer of 08. Thought it'd be like a 2-year, 3-year gig, and then I've been here ever since. Met my wife here, and I don't plan on leaving. So it helped that the Lamroos came after year 2 because we were looking pretty slim as far as the program. But yeah, that was a fun time. Honestly, I always thought like after our program got let go, was it more of did I like the hockey aspect or did I like the staff? Because Coach, you were around our group. Yeah. Like I don't think there's much closer staff. Even talking to like even talking to Steve Westering, he's like, I'm around every sport. And he's like, Kev, there's no staff that's closer to you guys. Like we would always be at kids' birthday parties and Christmases. Like it was like Ted Lasso, honestly. Like when I watched that show, like the Christmas episode almost got me like choked up because that's what Peter did. He brought us all over to his house because he knew a lot of us weren't going home or we had a lot of Europeans that weren't going to go home. So he opened his home to us. So it was just special. And I think that's obviously having a wife, and we didn't want to move, but I think that was part of it why I didn't want to jump to another job. It's like, I just don't know if it's the hockey job I like or the staff, I think it was more the latter.
Never quite the same deal, good guys. I think I said a couple episodes ago, I just saw Peter Elander down in Florida. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. National champion Peter Elander.
Yeah. He doesn't lead with that, but
no, he wouldn't.
No.
Did he say what he was thinking? Was he going to go back another year next year, or did you get into that, or no?
A little bit. There'd be a couple of those might be off air comments. Just speculation type stuff, but
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting that this is recorded and people might watch it.
Not a lot of people, but some people.
Some people, yeah.
So one thing I know you've heard a ton of, and this is Corey, I'm going to tee you up for your typical favorite question. Kevin's heard all kinds of good ones, and he's told me a few of them before. So do you want to jump right into the women's side of things for a minute?
Yeah, I'm a connoisseur of the chirp, and I would love to hear some of your favorite chirps you've either said or heard in a game.
Again, one might have to be off air, Corey, which it's pretty aggressive. That was another welcome to women's hockey thing for me.
Not classy.
You can go for it here.
Again, it was my senior year in St. Cloud, and we were in Wisconsin, and one girl came back to the bench and she said, "That B word hit me in my P word," with her stick. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I was like, all right.
That's so great.
I can respect the chirping, and it happens, I suppose. So.
That happens. Yeah. How many times do you have to hear boys talk about, oh, that's stuck in the gut?
It goes both ways.
Turnaround is fair play. You know what I mean? Like that's, hey.
The C word might have been thrown in there too. So
Yeah, that's actually the one I was thinking of. You, I know this was at UND. You said there was a long string of them, and you said it was to the point you were on the bench, you had to turn around and compose yourself because you thought, did I just hear this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was something too. That one I was like, okay. And you hear it in different languages too, because I learned
Oh
Finnish
yeah.
pretty good too, the words that they use. So
We have
another
had
good
a
one, and it
high.
was like, go ahead, Kelly.
Oh no, I was just gonna say everyone we talked to that has experienced both men's hockey and women's hockey agreed. The girls get a little bit more brutal and a little bit coarser.
Yeah.
And I support that so much. Like
Yeah.
as a foul-mouthed girl, I just cannot support this enough. So
Yeah,
makes
that's
me
why
really
you gotta
happy.
have that's why you gotta have Tori on. She was pretty good at
Oh,
that.
man, I support that.
Yeah. So another one, it was, I mean, this doesn't gender not related at all, but it was, I don't know if it was a chirp, but it ended up being a good one from Ali Parizek, speaking of Minot, from Western North Dakota. And we were in Ohio State, and the draw is like right by that bench. That rink isn't great, but the bench is right by one of the face-off circles. And Ohio State at the time, I think they still do it, did the sticker thing like football does. Like, you know, the more good things you do, you get a little Buckeye sticker. And Parizek goes to one of the girls, she's like, hey, how come she has more stickers than you? And I don't know if it was a legit question or a chirp, but I think either way, it's brilliant. Like,
it was belittling, and
yes,
that's what matters.
Yeah. There's some good ones. Like especially the Gophers series, because a lot of those kids were cities kids, and we had a couple of cities kids. And I remember Hanson just MF and Rachel Bona, and it got real quiet in the rink, so everybody in the rink could hear it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was some good times for sure.
Hanson was my intern at one time. Her legacy persists in that she set the password for the Veritas Twitter account, and it's still there. Just as a little shout out to Sam Hanson.
Is she helping out with the P-Dub team? I thought she was doing something.
That and some Instat stuff. So
okay, cool. Yeah. Good for her. Yeah.
I was at a junior varsity baseball game recently, and there was no. I was at the JV thing sets up the joke, Kyle. Give me a minute here. Anyways, so there was an upperclassman pitching against the team that I was watching, and the upperclassman, it struck a kid out and was kind of taking a bit of a strut around the mound. And I heard from the opposing team's dugout, right before he's about to pitch to the next kid, one of the kids yells, "Hey, what's a junior doing playing on JV?" And the next pitch this kid threw was about 4 to 5 feet high, and the kid yells, "Oh, that's why."
That's pretty good. Respect.
Classic good chirp from a dugout, and I was very close enough to hear it.
Yeah, it's a good
Some
natured
kids
one
are
too.
so good at that. They're just so good. The shit that comes out of their mouth, I'm like, you're an adult, Kelly. So I walk away and laugh. But some of it is really good. It's very good.
For sure.
You're to me because I'm a bleacher full of parents, and all of them were pretending that they didn't hear it, and I'm laughing hysterically.
That would be me. I would laugh and then be like, try to disguise it, but damn it, that was funny. Like, and then I'm gonna look at everybody like, you know, it was funny too. Okay, that was witty and amazing. Don't.
Coach, did you ever hear the story about Hextall when he was here? When Brett was here, Lucia had to grab him in the handshake line and said, "Hey, you're being a little too mean," because he would always yell at Don like, "Put Tony out there. How come Tony's not coming? Why doesn't Tony play more?"
Oh my gosh!
Hexy was super good at that.
That is tremendous.
Yeah, I loved Hexy. He was the best.
So I misheard. I thought you said Hacksaw. I'm like, geez, are you going UND camps? Are you doing the visits? So like, that's another.
Yeah, that was
Brett for sure. I'm going to throw one more chirp. This one was from River Dogs. Is my own kid. Throwing pop flies to the kids. It's a little windy. Throwing it up in his glove, bounces out. Next time, same deal. In his glove, bounces out. And so I was throwing the pop flies that told the kids that aren't catching, you got to take a knee and just watch and see what you can do better. one kid not taking a knee, not taking, just standing looking around. And so, because they're 8, the one kid goes to mine, "Hey, you can't catch." And he goes, "Yeah, but my ears work." I'm like, whoa.
Whoa, that's a mic drop right there for sure.
Sounds like the little kids say it. So,
Love it.
so Kevin, I know a host of good stories from the women's program, a lot of fun personalities. Could you, this is going to be a left field one. Tell us about Turbo.
Oh, Turbo, gosh. Where does it start?
Set it up for the audience who don't know Turbo, but
Turbo is Ian Humsey, best pickup outside of the Lamoureux in women's hockey program, I think. He was working for the men's team, and I can't remember what happened there. And I think
I know. I think we'll just move on.
Yeah, and then so he reached out and he's like, "Hey, can I just volunteer?" He wanted to be in hockey. Like, kids just, he's one of a kind. He's like, "Can I help out with the women's team?" I'm like, "Yeah, Turtle. Like, I don't know if you know, but like, student manager, you have to clock over work study," and he didn't. But he's like, "I'll volunteer." So I was like, even better, because I only had so many hours. But he just loved it. So like, I kind of took him under my wing. He came with me to the first Fargo regional that we hosted, and he was a legend there. Like, he crushed like 60 wings at B-dubs one night. He was just honestly, Turbo fit his name. Like, he was always on the go. Like, and one time, I think at team meal, we always had omelets for pregame meal, and he just said, "Give me everything." And Rob, being a beauty that he is at the Ralph, made like a 12 egg omelet for him, and he ate it all off a pizza dish, and then he finished it off with the yogurt, and still worked like 8 hours for me during the game. And now he's like big time in the Air Force. Coach has had him work Veritas. I sent him to Spain, I think. Yeah, to work a goalie camp because I couldn't make it. So honestly, he's a legend. Like, Turbo was the best. He used to be, and not to rip, Turbo used to be kind of a chubby kid, and he kind of embraced it. Like, he took pictures with the same Santa Claus from 5 years old till like 22. It's like this famous Santa Claus that is in the city, like even my nephews go to. And he always took the same picture, and he had mullets. Like, he was just honestly the best. I miss him so much.
Those are the heart and soul guys. You know what I mean? Like, those are just the best people, because they can.
Yeah, and he was such like a godsend for me, because it was 2017, second to last year of the program. My wife had cancer, and he covered for me. He, like, on a drop of a hat, she had a bad chemo treatment, and I was like, "Turbo, dude, I can't be going on the trip." And he dropped, like, left like middle of class and went to St. Cloud for the weekend. Like, and he reached out to me probably 3-4 years ago. He's like, "Kevo, thanks for everything. Like, everything you taught me helping in the Air Force." It was like, as long as you got the sticks and jerseys, you could play the game. And he's like, "That's how I told my crew. Like, as long as we got everything we can do, we can complete our mission or whatever." So honestly, that kid is the best. Like, Coach he probably has some good stories too. Like,
yeah, I got a really good. I send him a Christmas card every year. I have no idea if he gets it, but I'm like, I'm never gonna not send Turbo.
I guarantee you, Coach, they're sitting on his fridge. No one has.
Yeah. So because he would just do anything for anybody. So my wife works for JLG Architects. They host a party each year. It's in Fargo now, called JLG Rocks. And so it was in downtown Grand Forks, and she's like, "Geez, we're handing out free booze downtown. We need security." So I'm like, "I'm not a guy." So hired Turbo for the day. I gave him $200, but he had to be like the bouncer for the entire downtown. Just to make sure like no ne'er-do-wells were coming in or whatever. My wife, there's another gal that worked at JLG, and she also went by Turbo. So I'm like, no way, I'm going to introduce the Turbos. And so he's kind of an unassuming guy, quiet, just a salt of the earth type of dude. And I'm like, "Hey, come here, I got to introduce you to the other Turbo." He just walks up nonchalantly, grabs her hand. "I'm the only one." And that was it. I'm like,
Turbo.
Like, there can only be one, like this fucking Highlander.
And he was it. And she's like, "All right, I don't think I've heard that girl." And she's still there. I don't think I've heard her called Turbo ever since. It's just,
there is only one. Yeah, there really is.
Yeah.
Geez, why am I blanking on his name? He works for the Wild now, the strength and conditioning guy.
Oh, Hards.
Jeez. And he was there. So I got another witness and he's like, huh, that happened. So
I can't believe Harder's a
Yeah.
strength. Good for Hards, but like, yeah,
also another,
he's a gem.
lot
Some
of good
stories for him.
So
Yeah.
did you guys bequeath the nickname Turbo, or did he come with it?
No, I think Andy Randalls gave it to him first game that he was working with the men's team. He was just amped. Like he had like 3 or 4 Red Bulls, like just geared up. And he's a student manager, big hockey fan, didn't play, but he's from the cities. And he was just amped. And like I think Andy Randalls is like easy turbo, like
Turbo.
game 1, like I think it was probably exhibition against Manitoba. He was just jacked.
Yep.
So it stuck and it fits.
Stuck. Yeah.
What?
I looked him up. I think he's a big timer. He does some sort of stuff with the Air Force. I found him on LinkedIn.
Well, he went to the Air Force Academy, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
Now, the Turbo though, if that was the first game of the season and that was the one where Schneider beat the hell out of that kid from Manitoba, like I can understand how you get Turbo.
That was a little bit before his time, but
yeah,
he was that kind of guy that would, yeah. Bill Schneider's, yeah.
Yeah. Also a guest on the show.
Oh,
Keeping
Dakota
real good
TV.
company, Kevo.
Yeah,
Schneids, yeah.
This is big time. I feel honored here.
Yeah.
Just a lowly booze salesman that used to sharpen skates and wash jocks, but hey.
Or Jill's, as it were.
Yes, Jill's too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm curious, Kevin, have you were you mad at your parents for not naming you Ricky, and have you ever in fact played for the California Penal League?
Great question.
I do play softball with a bunch of guys from UND, and it always is Gimme Vaughn. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. I've heard it all. Everybody spells my last name wrong because of that. It's that and the goalie equipment. So yeah. Yeah, but it is I should wear 99, but I just can't bring myself to do it in softball. I don't want to be that guy.
That's a tough
But if I did have Vaughn on the back, it would be all right then.
My nephew's middle name is Vaughn because it was the brand of his dad's goalie equipment.
That sounds about right for a goalie, for sure.
Yeah.
I know a kid in Saskatchewan whose first name is Vaughn because that was what his dad was. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got.
Do
Brian's,
they make Vaughn equipment anymore? Do goalies wear that? Is that a thing?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know. I don't have a goaltender, so
I know a real picky 12-year-old asshole that doesn't like it, but yeah, they do.
Not gonna name any names.
Yeah.
May or may not start with an A, but hey, just knows what he likes. All right.
Yeah. No, I always like the Vaughn guys were great reps too. Those guys are beauties. Scotty was an awesome dude.
Did you ever work with a CCM rep named Matt Cermak?
Cermy, yeah. I played against Cermy in high school.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Hill Murray guy.
Yeah.
He's moved up the ladder. He's like an NHL guy.
Yeah, big cheese now. I saw him at the NCHC event where he was winding up. He's a very, very bright guy.
Yes.
Very like understated sense of humor.
Yeah, dry humor. Yeah.
He was winding up a gal from Princeton who didn't know that he was kidding around. And it was just tremendous to watch this train wreck because she was getting completely livid with him. He was so earnest in his face. And not in a mean-spirited way, but just sort of like poking the bear a little bit about how awful their rink is. And that's an institution. We can't. That's no.
Oh, you don't talk to Ivies like that.
Do not.
Does he still just do UND and obviously the pro stuff? Because I mean that was his baby. He was the one that turned UND to CCM. That's kind of how he springboarded to.
It didn't come up. I was mostly just watching him.
Oh yeah,
wind this poor kid up.
No, Cermy's good dude.
Yeah. Kevin, I know you have a lot of you're not shy about sharing your opinion. One of the things we like to talk about is like hockey parent related stuff. I saw a tweet the other day from Topher Scott, who you ever come across him?
Yep. I know Toph. My buddy played our high school goalie that was a stud, played with him at Cornell. So
okay. Good dude. He had an interesting long form tweet about how important choosing friends is for hockey players. Surround yourself with good people and not shit bags. And so what kind of personal experience do you have with stuff like that? And
we were pretty fortunate. Like we had 15 seniors on our high school team. Like we were a tight group. We all grew up playing together. I mean, most of the time we were all on the same youth teams. Maybe, you know, somebody had a bad tryout, made a B team, or had a good tryout, made an A team. And that was a big part of why I think we were a close knit team and a good program, was we had a good coach, and the parents were all good. Like nobody, for the most part, obviously some parents are going to, you know, voice their opinion, but that was back in early 2000s before emails and texting was a thing. Like I would be pissed at my dad if he would have talked to my coach about playing time or whatever. Like, I don't know. I mean, I helped a little bit coaching, and I don't know. God bless people that do it. I just can't. It would be tough for me to do it nowadays. I mean, obviously kids and family take precedence. I'd love to still be involved in the game. I still do stats for UND, but coaching, and if I could just coach and work with players, that'd be great. Like my buddy asked me, like our high school coach stepped down. He's like, "Do you want to take the job?" I'm like, "Yeah, if I can do it remotely and I don't have to deal with parents, that'd be great." not to be crass. I know you guys are hockey parents, and I know you guys are good ones, but you guys see it. It's just,
we tell each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just a different time. You know, it's easy for us to say, like back in my day, and you know, it was just a different time. Like it was, our parents just wouldn't talk to a coach because that's just kind of how the culture was, and you didn't have texting or cell phones really that much. I mean, it was, not to say I grew up in middle ages, but it was early 2000s, and I didn't have a cell phone until I was 18. So,
well, Kevin, back in our day when you came home and said, "Dad, coach yelled at me today and screamed my head off," the first thing they would say is, "Well, what the hell did you do?"
Yeah. But even on the drives, like, you know, like after games is when I would talk to my dad, like, "How do you think I played?" And he wouldn't sugarcoat it, like sometimes to a fault, but made you who you are now. I mean, that was kind of the way it was, I guess. Yeah. But it's, I mean, you guys are in it more than I am. I just see it from afar, but it's a different ball game. I don't know if it's just hockey, if it's all sports, but
right. I'm assuming all sports, but like it's interesting, and I'm really glad you brought that up, because I saw I don't know if anybody see the Carolina Hurricanes press conference from the other day.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
So Martin
Donnie,
Don Waddell's there's apparently Netchcash's dad was on TV saying his kid deserves more power play time, and that's part of the reason they lost. And so it even happens at the NHL level.
Yeah,
that's wild to me. Like, it's why, I mean, when you're telling high school kids that their parents, you know, like need to not be so involved, that at the NHL level this is going on, it's like, that's a lot. Now I get it, like perhaps his dad is in some way involved in his career or something like that. You know, I understand sometimes that you know, but I think that when your kid is in the NHL, maybe at that point is where you step out of the picture a little bit, maybe let his agent handle it, maybe, you know, like I don't know if I
and the more I watch the game and like follow it, it's just, hockey is the most unpredictable sport there is. Like people get so pissed off that UND doesn't make the Frozen Four every year here, and it's just like, you watch the games, it comes down to one game, or it comes down to a bounce. Like Carolina was sick, but they damn near came back. But like it's just crazy. Like, Coach, you've seen the Oilers forever. Like they had their Gretzky years, but not. I mean, that's a different story. But everybody's so effing good now.
Yeah,
there's no cakewalks. Like everybody's so good. You're not, the
skill level is insane. Yeah,
and nothing against like Gretzky, but like he was skating around pylons like back in the day and scoring on goalies that were trying to kick save at the top of the crease. Like it comes down to bounces and momentum, and just like UND this year, like they're up in the third period, they played 10 minutes of bad hockey and their season's over.
Yeah,
right.
I'll take,
you know, like it's tough. Like I give those guys credit that beat the, you know, and deal with parents at the college level and beat the recruiting path. And Coach, you see it, you know, when you're advising, like you don't know who's going to be good or not for the most part. Like you just get in the right spot, right situation. Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, Hyman in the Oilers, like, he's awesome. Like, I love the way he plays, but would he pop 40 goals playing for the Wild? No. Like,
well, even look at his trajectory, mid-round draft pick, and I think a fourth or fifth rounder. So like the fact that he made one game in the NHL is like he's already beat the odds.
Yeah.
Start just a big lull to the point where lucky he was still in the league. Now 50 goal scorer, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And that was like the guy. I mean, it was like Anson Carter when he played with the Sedins. Like, he made a career out of playing with those guys, and nothing knocking their skill, but like,
yeah. I met Anson Carter at West Edmonton Mall, and the crushed velvet baby blue tracksuit made his career. So don't the Sedins bullshit. That guy can wear a tracksuit.
Absolutely, yeah, he can dress. But yeah, it's just
even Gino Gasparini brought it up, and I thought it was a really interesting point in just terms of the change of the culture of the game, where he said, "I'm so glad the transfer portal was not a thing when I was a coach, because I never would have I wouldn't have had people stay." He said, because I would have said the things I said, they wouldn't have liked it, and they would have transferred. And I thought, that's just true. I mean, he hit the nail on the head, and he said there were people that I had that if I wouldn't have gotten the time to put into them, they wouldn't have become who they were if I would have just, been tough on them and they transferred out immediately.
Yeah.
That's so he goes, I couldn't coach this game. He said, I wouldn't succeed in this.
Yeah. That's why I give those guys a ton of credit. Like, it's great for UND. They picked up that kid from Fairbanks, but like, if you're Fairbanks, what do you do? Like, that kid was good. He was the best player on the ice that weekend when I worked it. I can't remember his name, Colin something or whatever. They picked up the D-man. Like, he was the best player on the ice that weekend. And now you just turn into a feeder system. And that's great for UND. Like, that's how it is. It's just the strong get stronger, and that's kind of what it's turning out to be. But it's just tough because you just turn into even our basketball team, they're losing guys left and right. You just turn into a feeder program and NIL stuff. It's great that they're getting paid, but it's a fucking Wild West. They need something. They need a salary cap. They need to have guys sign contracts, like at least stay for 2 years, or have limits on transfers. Like, that's just my opinion. I mean, as a guy that just sits on his ass and watches sports but chases kids around,
a nice polar opposite to that, while we're plugging Toph a little bit, is he did a short shift on his podcast that talked about the lack of ownership. So you talk about a dad coming in and saying, well, my kid should have done this or that. Well, his podcast covered Pasta's coach calling him out and saying, hey, he didn't play well in the series, and for us to win this thing, Pasternak's got to step up and play better. And then he was interviewed about his coach said, and he said, yeah, I got to step up, look at myself in the mirror, and I got to be better. And lo and behold, who scores the last goal in that series?
Yeah.
It's a big
those
deal.
Are guys you want, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like Tolf so much because, like, he's a guy that he was 5'0" and he made a hell of a career. Like, he was really good in college. Like, and he coached, and like, I like Toph a lot. He's a good dude, and he puts a lot of great content out too. Yeah, like you said, Corey, it's just have that ownership. I mean, I'm hitching my wagon to the Timberwolves bandwagon because I'm a Minnesota diehard sports fan, and you even see like Anthony Edwards. He's like, yeah, I was shitty, and my coach called me out, and you can either turtle or you can rise to the occasion, and that's rare nowadays, I feel like.
Well, it's almost like we flipped the pendulum too far, right? So abusive coaches it's not okay. It's not okay to physically. No. Not okay to mentally abuse your kids, but it's okay to be a tough coach. Like, it's okay to ask more from players when the players aren't reaching their potential that they can play at. And it's almost like we want to nerf every single coach to say, don't ask them for more. Don't ask for what that these kids can do, because you might push them too hard. And we've swung that pendulum from probably when we were kids. It was probably a bit too far.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, you think of like Bobby Knight is kind of the perfect example of that. It's too far, right? Like, that doesn't work anymore. But coddling guys doesn't. Like, you have, and today's athlete and today's player is way different. You got to treat them differently, but I just don't think you need to treat them with kid gloves either. Like, especially professionally. Like,
can't give up too much of the power, I think is the deal.
Yeah, I think it was Tony Dungy said it was like, I'll treat everybody, was it fairly but not equally, or vice versa? I can't remember what his book was, but I
Something
think
that,
that
yeah. Like
where you
for
spend more time on your top players and less
Yeah.
time. It's just the way it is. Like,
and sorry to embarrass Corey, but I coached his kid this year in a 4 overtime game. He had to ask for a break, and I gave it to him. And now I can't sleep at night. Like I that kid too much, you know. Double shifted the entire game.
What do you mean you're tired, Parker?
Right? So
you're 11. Let's go.
What lesson did I teach that kid? You know?
Oh yeah.
You know, when you're 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing, and all you can do is wreak havoc but no talent, that's the Urian.
And then I got a call from Corey. Listen, my kid only got 90 minutes of ice time this game. So can't win, you know?
Can't win for trying.
No.
You know, Kyle, that's a beautiful transition into something I'm going to circle back to from earlier. We brought up this Rotten Tomatoes game, and you forced me into wanting to play a Rotten Tomatoes games. But since you brought up Die Hard, I'm going to start with Kevin. Can you name every Die Hard movie in order in the series?
1, 2, With a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard. Oh God, the other 5th one was so bad. I hated it.
So far, you've nailed it. You're 4 out of 5.
I don't know what the 5th one was. I hated it.
Kyle, can you name without Googling it the 5th movie in that series?
No, I can't. I have 2 kids. I can't name them both. So,
well, he nailed it. Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard, and the last one is A Good Day to Die Hard.
A Good Die Hard.
A Good Day to Die. Oh man, that's a great title.
Terrible.
It is a good title. Horrible movie. They should have stopped it. 3, 4 was okay.
Good Day to Die Hard.
Which transitions nicely since you're a guy who I feel like is going to know this answer.
Is the answer Roadhouse?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to get a Roadhouse plug in.
And the new Roadhouse.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kevin? Old Roadhouse or new Roadhouse?
Oh, fuck. Old Roadhouse with a bullet. We could talk a lot about. I've always said, sorry, Corey, I cut you off on your first question, but
no, good. We're going well.
Original Roadhouse had Swayze, Sam Elliott, Kelly Lynch, Monster Trucks, Throat Rips, Jeff Healey Band, Swayze. I know I said it twice, but it counts. A polar bear falling on a guy.
Kelly Lynch's boobs.
Yes, I mean, yeah, and bar fights. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. Even my wife, after we watched the new Roadhouse, she's like, "There was no like steamy like sex scenes from the first one." I'm like, "Yeah," because the second one was it was a comic book, like bad. I tried to treat it as like a separate movie, and I just couldn't.
I have not watched the second one yet. I only
Save the 2 hours, Kelly.
Yeah, I walked like in and out of the room like 3 times when Matt was watching it and kind of came to the conclusion I didn't want to. But I heard that Conor McGregor is exceptionally bad. Like,
it's like he's like a cartoon character.
Right,
like he just keeps showing up and walks like
yeah,
this.
like you weren't thinking it was gonna be amazing, but
no.
maybe not that bad, and he just surpassed all expectations. Yeah. Who knew? You know,
his character's name is Knox, and it literally is tattooed across his sternum. Like I could go on and on.
A lot of depth that characters, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna do a sequel now too, because post credit scenes he survived the fight, so they're gonna bring him back. Spoiler alert.
Oh no. Now
Sorry, you can go ahead with your original question. I had to get a Roadhouse plug in. Coach knows me well enough to know I got.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad we went there, and I'm gonna leave it there because that was better than any question I could ask.
Stole your thunder. Sorry.
No,
you're gonna get off me.
Like Kyle said, we just go where the podcast goes. We're happy to go.
I like it.
In which case, we'll ask a question about. You said the coaching staff on the women's team was some people you enjoyed, and I may have the world's worst neighbor. So let's ask you, what is Fabe's story?
Fabe's?
Yeah.
Oh God, Fabe's. Let's see.
I look forward to Fabe's. So any horrible story you can tell me about, I'll just yell over to him.
Okay. The
You know
first
what I
one was
heard about
actually,
you, Eric?
the first one was before he came on staff. The guys, in the summer, they were out of the normal locker room. They're in this practice locker room. So, and I was working camp, so I do laundry for them. And then they always had the board, kangaroo court and stuff. And they had Fabes' like engagement picture of him and Tina in there. And like Fabes was like looking off to nowhere, like a cover of like a Christian rock album. And so like that picture was plastered on the board in the locker room the whole summer. Like, where's Fabes looking? Oh God. So like that was my introduction to Fabes, but like he's such a nice guy. Like I love Fabes. He actually helped me get this job, but like, gosh, a good Fabes story. I'm trying to think, even though I might have to come back to that because I'll have to think of a good one. He's such the perfect human. We always joke about it. Like, how do you really come up with a shitty Fabes story? I guess a good one was like we were in Bemidji and Tina and I had brought the kids and they do the introductions, and God bless Bemidji, but there's probably 50 people at the crowd. And so Jackson and Alexis are like right behind the bench. And so they introduce like head coach Brian Nadolski and assistant coach Eric Fabian, and then you just hear them go, "That's my daddy!" And Brian's like, "Yeah."
Oh, I
So
like
we
that.
kept it pretty loose on the bench, so that was always kind of fun. So again, Fabes, I could do a bunch of stories, but like I said, he's such a perfect human. There's no real dirt on him. I don't know.
Yep.
He likes the black velvet whiskey every now and then,
Yep.
Which I respect as a salesman now.
Yep. I passed him on 47th and he didn't wave to me, and I texted him to give him shit and he apologized. I'm like, I was just honestly just kidding. So nice.
Fabes for you. Yeah.
I will take your apology.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Any favorite story from your time in women's hockey?
I always gotta say, like, our Clarkson trip was the biggest shit show. If you haven't been to Clarkson, you fly into Syracuse. It's in the middle of nowhere, but it's like Clarkson and St. Lawrence are huge rivals. So, and that's when Darren Looker, was our radio guy, and Jeremy, our video guy, they took separate flights. It was an S show getting there. We all got there. We split with Clarkson. They were really good that year. And then Saturday night, it was St. Lawrence and Clarkson men's series that weekend. And Bricklayers convention at the hotel that we stayed at. So this is Bricklayers in upstate New York. So you can about imagine. And we're all just sitting there, just winding down from a weekend. It's kind of a crazy weekend, watching like Big Ten championship. And this big old burly gal comes down, and she is just hammered drunk. And she comes down, and she's with her husband, and she's just belligerent as all hell. And she comes over to our table, and she points. She goes, "I would F everyone in here except for you." And she points to Darren Looker, and he goes, "Well, I guess I win." So, I mean, and the waitress came over, and she's like, "I'm so sorry. It's the Bricklayers Union Christmas party, or at Christmas party. They come here every year, but we have to host them. They make a lot of money."
Oh my God.
Later that night, that same couple get into a big fight with somebody else from St. Lawrence. We see the husband get tased in the parking lot. Jeremy has it on Snapchat still to this day. And then we finally get on. So, and then we had like the first flight out on Sunday morning, and I'm checking out, and I'm in charge of all that stuff. And there's a guy like sleeping right by the checkout desk. I'm like, oh God, this must be like one of the bricklayer guys passed out. No, that was the front desk guy working. He had a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi trying to keep himself awake. And it's middle of nowhere. And then this will perfectly merge into Peter being such a beauty. We are exhausted. It's 5:30 morning, pitch dark, upstate New York, in the middle of nowhere. Like, you're not having cell service, trying to call back to my wife. Peter's trying to call back to his son in Sweden on Skype at the time. Everybody on the bus is sleeping. And if you've known Peter, like, he's not a quiet guy. And you just hear him, hello, Daniel. And Max, like, I know, shit you not, like, Max had a shot mouth, and he was about ready to kill Peter. And Brian finally goes, "Peter, do you need my headphones, or can you please not call him right now?"
That's wonderful.
Max gave a real passing reference to that phone call.
He did.
So it's good. I love
Yeah,
hearing the other
that one's
perspective.
famous. Yeah.
Kevin, we're coming up on our time, but I thought
Okay. Yeah.
you could be our inaugural guest on the so I'm gonna steal it from the Hockey Academy, RIP, Rotten Tomatoes game. You guys want to play?
I'm down. Yeah.
Okay.
My phone is away from me. See how good my skills are.
Kevin knows about the honor system. You're not
Yeah, it's pretty serious stuff.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
All right, 3
You
Minnesota.
gonna get O'Keefe on, by the way, Coach?
I'm gonna have a THA reunion show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It'd be like Vanderpump show for us. I mean, but not as crazy.
Like Vanderpump Rules, but THA.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm waiting to
Kelly,
watch the reunion tonight. So
Kelly, do you need a minute to talk about Vanderpump? Or are you good?
We certainly can. A Bravo reference is where I shine. You know,
yeah,
I'm just like
Kelly and I can go off and do our own
Lord.
podcast, and I'll bring my wife in for that one. So
yeah,
that's
I'm here for it.
When the kids go to bed, it's Bravo time.
Yeah,
Bravo celebrities.
Well, Kelly can have her own spinoff on Bravo, and I'm trying to get Ray and Danny Mardo to do a baseball show. So we'll have a whole.
There you go.
Perfect.
Good, because I literally have no idea what you guys are doing.
That's right,
Corey. Don't you dare.
Yeah. Underneath that Under Armour pullover, Corey's got a Bravo fan appreciation T-shirt on. I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Yep. He knows about Scandival. Don't say
you know about it. Below Deck, you know it all. Sheena.
Don't lie. You live in America.
You gotta remember, I only have one TV in my house and it sits on the floor, so I just don't watch that much TV.
Oh, damn
Humble
it.
brag number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so how the game works, I think I explained it briefly. I'll give you 3 movies. Each of you have to provide a number between 1 and 100 based on what you think the Rotten Tomato score is. Now, this is the Tomato Meter score, not the audience score.
Okay, so this is how bad it is. Yeah.
I will.
Or good. Or good. Yeah.
Or good. Yeah. Because if it's low, you're right.
Add up the plus minus, lowest score wins, just like golf. That work for everyone?
Yeah.
I accept these rules.
3 movies, and because Kevin, big Minnesota guy, Mighty Ducks, Grumpy Old Men, Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Which one had the worst score on Rotten Tomatoes?
These are the 3 movies. So I will call on you for every movie to give the score.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, Corey, I'd like to hear your score for Mighty Ducks.
I'm going to go with a 69.
I
Nice. Kelly?
I think this is beloved, so I'm gonna say like 93% fresh. Where they go, where low is rotten and high is fresh.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's a beloved film. I'm gonna go 93. And I even want to go higher, but I'm gonna do that.
I feel like leaning towards audience score more than stupid critics, but I respect your take, Kelly.
Yeah, people love that film, and they should.
Okay. Kevin?
I'll go 62-ish. 62.
Oh, you just
right me.
Price
is Right.
You did Price is Right for bet it $1.
Yeah.
Okay. Grumpy Old Man. Let's go reverse order. Kevin?
I'll go 80. I feel like that one might be, the critics might have liked that one just because it's Mathau and Jack Lemmon and the classic.
That's fair. Kelly?
Ooh, that's gonna be another. I agree. That's a beloved film. 89.
Kelly, you really nice. You're going to high scores. I like it for everything.
Well, I mean, because I'm gonna be fucking mad if people had shit to say about these films. Because these are hills I will die on. That those are wonderful movies that can't get better. So
I gotcha. There's no judgment. I'm just
who gave it bad scores, and I will find them.
Okay, Corey, Grumpy Old Man.
I'm gonna give a score that I know is obscenely too high, and here's my rationale.
Okay.
Never would you see Mathau look at Lemon and go, "What do you want to do today?" I don't know. Let's get drunk. Like that deserves
much better than that.
Yeah, I'm going 92. I don't care how wrong I am. 92.
I'm gonna take you to a little island called Kamana Wanalea.
Yeah, the old
Oh
his
man,
old man is the best.
Oh,
Burgess Meredith. I tell you, what a
Yeah,
beaut.
Burgess Meredith.
Okay, last one. Drop Dead Gorgeous. I have it
Kyle,
on VHS.
I don't know if you
Kelly?
know what you've done with this one
I,
because
I I am aware, Kelly.
in my opinion, this is a perfect film. Um, it doesn't, it just doesn't get better. But I know that there are not smart enough people in this world to appreciate the majesty of that film. So I'm gonna have to go lower on this one because there's gonna be people that are like, I don't get it, and I think it's dumb, and those people are dumb. But so I'm gonna go like 64% on Drop Dead Gorgeous because I just there's not smart enough people to embrace what a cinematic masterpiece it was.
Yeah. Corey.
I do not know what this film is. I'm assuming it's a Bravo TV show.
No, it is not, but it
because-
is.
Corey, this would be a real good
Perfection.
one for the Aryan family movie night, no joke.
Based on the fact I believe you're wholeheartedly lying, I'm going to give it exact, I don't know, rating of 50-50. Let's go with 50%.
That's a fair move in this game.
Yeah, it is. That's good strategy.
Kevin, have you seen Drop Dead Gorgeous?
Yes, I am
Oh.
aware of the film. Yes, it is good. 84,
So
I'll say.
wonderful.
I feel like that one's critics are gonna like it.
Okay.
Dang it. I've gone too low.
You might be right, Corey, though. I was a little bit torn on that one.
So now I have to do a little bit of math. You guys talk amongst yourselves, ask questions, kibitz.
Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island.
Yeah.
Discuss.
Give
Corey,
me
it is about a beauty pageant set in Mount Rose, Minnesota.
Okay.
And it's I mean, if Denise Richards, who can't act out of a wet paper bag, it's her best performance. And I've seen Wild Things, okay? So
Oh, man.
Haven't we all?
I'll say it. It's her piece de resistance.
I feel like you telling me that's her best performance is like you telling me it's the best tasting piece of broccoli.
One of my favorite parts about that movie is so everyone else can act in the movie. So it's set in Minnesota and they've all got like this strong, like really, really strong Minnesota accent. But like someone in casting determined like we can't ask Denise Richards to do this because she's not capable of it. So she's the only person weirdly missing this insanely strong Minnesota accent. And like nobody ever comments on it. But I also think that is part of the beauty of this movie is that nobody ever does comment on it. So it's got just a lot of good points.
I was really thinking my percentage was way off until you mentioned she was in this movie.
Yes.
Now I feel more
You might feel a little more confident, Corey. Yeah. Due to the critics.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
That was a good pull, Coach.
Pardon me?
That was a good pull for him. Yeah.
But it is a cult classic. It is one like so it's hard to guess because it's one of those. It's like Showgirls. It's got a following.
So when I get with this, how on a level from 1 to 10, how mad is my wife going to be that I've never heard of this movie?
Oh, it's
She
so
from
good.
Minnesota?
She's from North Dakota. But she has, little known fact, actually been in a beauty pageant.
Oh,
she might know.
Yeah.
Kyle's wife and I
viewing.
Kyle's wife and I send each other clips from this movie because when Amanda went to judge for Miss North Dakota, I just spammed her with Drop Dead Gorgeous clips because it's all I wanted to believe her experience was like. If it was anything different than that, I don't even want to be told because that's how I imagined it. So I hope there genuinely was a girl who, for her talent, did different dog barks. I really do. If there wasn't,
has to be.
Right. I mean, if there wasn't, why did anybody show up? So
now I'm thinking I did too low. Thanks a lot, Kelly.
I have the results if everybody's ready.
Okay.
The Rotten Tomato score for Mighty Ducks was 23.
Oh my God. Wow.
23.
That hurts.
Yeah, right?
I thought that would at least like
audience score was
like
much higher.
D3. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought like D3 would be down to that. You know, all sequels just get
Why would anyone do
bagged
that?
on.
Why?
'Cause
That's I'm not okay. I'm unwell.
critics make lawyers look like decent human beings.
That's fair.
Yeah, fair point. Grumpy Old Men, 65.
Dang it.
Okay.
Respectable score.
Respectable, but still
Too low.
not even slightly adequate.
Now, Kelly, if you have a fainting couch and a cold cloth, I suggest you get it
Oh
ready.
boy,
I'm
is it
gonna
that
get
low?
so mad.
Drop Dead Gorgeous was 47.
Yeah.
How? Okay,
Corey might have pulled her
that's
then.
better than I thought. But how? Okay, and I love Drop Dead Gorgeous, but Mighty Ducks is an absolute classic, and you can bring a priest and a shovel because I'll die on that hill. It is so good, and if you don't get that, I mean, I don't that's faith lost in humanity.
Yeah.
So
So-
Corey probably won with that 50er at the end there.
So yeah, so Kelly, while you're already down, I'm gonna let you know that you finished last with 111 points.
I guess having taste is something people just don't do anymore. So
Well, let's call it a moral victory. You know what I mean?
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's-
Kevo came in second place with a 91. And Corey, first timer, wins with a 76, carried by the
50.
you got on the last one. That was the
I'd like to know what these shitbags consider a perfect movie because I bet it's hot garbage. I'm just upset. All right.
Kelly, I once, when I was just dating my wife, we rented the movie Mud because I love McConaughey.
Yeah.
And it was like 98 on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. I know.
So I take it with a grain of salt. I'm sure Roadhouse is like a 42. So
Well,
still let it go.
So-
However, this is a tremendous game to play in the show because it's
I was gonna say, Coach, I'm not gonna tell you how to run your show, but it's a good closer to your show. I mean,
Actually, it
everybody
really
likes
is.
games, so
yeah.
well, Kelly can enjoy her moral victory because I'm going to sleep well with my actual victory.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna be mad about that for you know what? My son's social studies teacher was in the original Mighty Ducks. And so when I talked to Mr. Duckworth about this, and that is his name, Mr. Duckworth, and he was in the original. Yeah. When I talked to him, we are gonna rage about this
I like it.
because
send
it is
a
a
strongly
travesty.
worded letter to Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whom it may concern.
Kevo, what is the best women's hockey celly you've ever seen? I'm trying to give Corey some ideas so he can prance around his house with his newfound victory here.
Oh,
France,
God.
I will.
So one of the best sellies we had. Gosh, trying to think. Did we have anybody do the Solani where they shot the glove out of the air? I want to say maybe not in a game, but I don't know. Maybe at practice. But
We'll take that too. That's a
yeah,
good,
that one's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best celly I ever saw was when I was at St. Cloud. Joe Jensen did the Captain Morgan. Did this guy that hand on the knee and skated up half the ice against the Gophers. That was pretty sweet. But that's because it was against the Gophers. So
that really nicely encapsulates how this
St.
episode
Cloud.
St. Cloud and hockey.
Yeah, I mean, it encapsulates St. Cloud too, because you booze pretty hard at St. Cloud. So
It's good
Win
to
or
know.
lose, we lose.
yeah, absolutely.
Canada of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, any parting shots for anybody?
Go Oilers, coach. Beat the Stars. I'm still salty they left Minnesota, so I don't want them to do well. And a certain player that played for a certain Minnesota team that is now a defenseman for the Stars is a D-bag. So
Yeah. I gotcha. I got 12 million reasons to hate that guy.
yeah.
Corey?
I'm going to bed a winner as usual, Kyle. So I'm okay with it.
And go Wolves for my basketball buddies. So.
Yeah, that's good. Keep your Minnesota bona fides alive, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kelly / Matt Moreland.
Mighty Ducks is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just not for simple people. I guess you have to be sophisticated to get it. So.
I have a little move I like to do is a sniff. If I do something well, I work in a little sniff. you know.
Yeah.
Eric Fabian, tremendous sniffer. Matt Moreland, a
Oh
brand
god,
new,
yeah,
very
Fade's
good
great one.
sniffer.
Yeah.
Kelly, I am going to be so mad if I see you get upset about something and you don't do this. That was a good move. You know what I mean? I think that would be your thing.
It's the outrage, you know. It's I don't know. I guess I'm disappointed. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
I'm just disappointed. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Can you
the
do
best
one more
party
time
shot.
for our viewers? I could say something like Christy Alley was only mid in that movie. Does that do it?
That's unacceptable, and you don't disrespect the dead like that, Kyle. All right. So watch it. I guess that's what I would say.
Yeah.
And Corey, homework assignment, watch Drop Dead Gorgeous. Okay. You're
just
not
glad-
going to enjoy it.
I'm glad I won based on a movie that I never saw, being that I saw Wild Things at least 3,000 times in my adolescence.
Not the whole
This is
film,
not
just the one part.
as
Let's be honest.
stimulating as Wild Things. So you've been warned.
A lot of VHSs were broken on that film, I'll tell you that.
They exhibit good water safety in that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
They really do.
Be kind and just rewind when you watch that film at the old rental store. So,
well, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
no, super fun, guys. I appreciate it.
Not only come back for this one, but come back for the THA reunion episode.
Yes.
Where we'll just
the tea will be spilled.
Yeah. Maybe we can call the Department of Defense and pull Turbo for that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We can pull our strings. He'll do it. He'll drop at the drop of a hat. He'll do it.
He'll be here. So introduce everyone to Turbo. So thanks, Kevin, for joining us. Kelly,
awesome. Anytime, guys.
Much.
Thanks.
Appreciate the time and have a good evening.
Thanks.
Good night,
you guys too.
Good night.